Let's go out to Columbus, Ohio, and talk to Mel. What's up, Mel?
Hi, good morning, Dr. John.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm good.
What's up?
So I'll lead with my question. I'm a little nervous.
I am too. I'm super nervous.
Anxiety, I should be taking that anxiety test right about now.
It would tell
anyhow,
you the results of your anxiety test would be talking to a not very talented, middle-of-the-road podcaster and asking life wisdom. So that's what it would tell you.
All right, my question is, how do I know the difference between my nervous system response that seems to drive the ship, hijack everything, and what is a true sense, my gut, my intuition, and my knowing?
Let me ask you this. Why do you think there needs to be a difference?
I don't know. I just think there should be. Because I feel like I've operated from a place where, everything's a threat.
Okay. But what if everything is a threat? You're assuming your body's wrong. What if your body's right? Is it?
Well, I'm coming to the place where I've been so disconnected from my body for so many years, and I'm finally taking it seriously. My youngest son looked at me one day, he's 5 years old, and said, "Mommy, why are you such an angry woman?"
Ooh.
And, it stopped me in my tracks.
Was he right?
Oh, it is. Yes, he was right.
Who disconnected you from your body? What happened?
Oh, it's, a chaotic house. My parents were adult children of alcoholics.
Oh, man.
They had they just didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
And building a business, building a very successful, I was on my own. Some sexual abuse when I was young, but just always feeling that I was, there's just really, we grew up more like employees than children, I think.
Hey, when you experienced that sexual abuse, did you tell anybody when you were a kid?
No.
Okay. All right. And that's nothing to be ashamed of. I was just wondering if you told somebody and they didn't believe you or they didn't respond. But almost worse is you were left completely on your own.
And I knew there was no one to tell. I mean, there was no,
okay.
At that age, it's a very young age.
But hold on, there's another side to that. There should have been.
Mm-hmm.
And trauma can be what happened to you. And trauma can also be what didn't happen to you and should have.
100%.
And trauma, like the way Dr. Matei defines it, and I love it, trauma is simply a disconnection from yourself. And I hate that for you. I don't think there's a difference between your nervous system and your gut. I think they're both trying to keep you safe because the people that were supposed to keep you safe were too interested in their business and too interested in trying to learn new tools for what a relationship should look like since their parents didn't have any. And you had a little girl dealing with sexual abuse and dealing with isolation and loneliness and being left behind for work. And that little girl went and got married and had kids, right?
Well, we're not married. We've been together 15 years, and I still don't marry him.
Why?
I don't know.
You do. Why not?
I just...
Why don't you think you are worth that security? And I know it's cool to say, because we're all modern and hip, I don't even need that, bro. It's just I don't need a piece of paper to tell me. I've
been saying that for years.
What's that protecting you from?
I think the disappointment if it doesn't work out.
There you go. It's 15 years.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Here's 3 kids. We have 2 kids together. I'm raising a beautiful bonus kid from a previous relationship he has, and we have a beautiful life. We have.
Would he marry you? Would he marry you tomorrow?
Right, this week? I'm not sure.
Hey, I just realized I've just been talking. I heard my friend Mel really unsure of Mel. And I don't even know why you called yet, but I just want to take some time at the beginning of this call to tell you, you may not believe in you, but I do. And
I'm building that. I've really been intentional. I've lost 75 pounds.
Holy smokes, that's amazing.
I'm sitting in the Y parking lot right now.
Mel, that's awesome.
A good enough therapist, not great, but
hey, that's what I am. I'm good enough. I'm not a therapist, but good enough YouTuber.
And then I have a life coach. And my partner and I went to the Summit of Greatness a couple of weeks ago here in Columbus.
I was just with Lewis in Los Angeles last week. Awesome guy.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good stuff here, but there's this part of me that, and as I thought I had processed all my trauma and all my stuff. I've been, kind of doing that for years, but I've numbed out with a lot of things over the years. And, our problems in our relationship certainly aren't one-sided. I guess they never are. But
how can I help you today?
Well, you answered my question that my gut and my intuition don't have to be, or my nervous system don't have to be two separate things. I think it's fear and just taking that chance. But my girls looked at me one day and they're like, Mom, we're never getting married and we're never having kids.
Yeah.
And they're 12 and 13 years old. And, what we've shown them, what I've shown them, what it is to be I don't even know how to complete that thought because it just hits me in my.
I think when you start to get well, you start to. I'm going to send you a copy of my new book, Building a Non-Anxious Life. But
I pre-ordered it.
Oh, you did? I'm going to send you another one. How about that? I appreciate you doing that. But the first thing you have to do is you have to choose reality. Here's the truth of my life. These things happen to me. These are the choices I'm making. And the work you've been doing, going to counseling, really honoring yourself, being such a good steward of Mel, losing 75 pounds, that's amazing. Spending money with your 15-year boyfriend, father of your kids, going to like something great like the Summit of Greatness with Lewis and his gang, like that's awesome. But what it does is it kind of it serves as a refining fire, and it burns off all the excess nonsense. And what you are sitting with is reality. You've been pretending you're not married for 15 years. You're as married as the day is long. You're pretending that you're safe because you're not under some covenant, yet you've created humans. And what you're starting to see of the reality of your life is you've lived your whole life with one foot out of the boat to protect you. And in so doing, your kids don't have a stable place, a firm foundation to stand on.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who's your husband, probably legally at this point, also doesn't have a firm place to stand on. And by the way, all this work you've been doing, you go to something like the Summit of Greatness, it should shake you up. You leave really pumped up and you go home and you look at your house when you walk in the door from a trip like that and you go, that's right, that's good. Because now your next thing is, I've got to start making these changes that I learned about and I've been learning about. And I'll say this, I don't think your nervous system is wrong. I think it's doing what it grew to do, which is to protect you. But it's protecting you from something now that doesn't exist anymore. And that is somebody who's abusing you. That is somebody who's neglecting you. Unless I'm wrong. Am I wrong?
There's definitely neglect in this relationship.
Okay. So
not
maybe
able to express what I need, what my needs are.
Why not?
And hyper independent.
Hold on. You're not able to express them because you're going to get hit in the mouth? You're not able to express them because your husband's a child and he'll go drink 6 beers and leave you for a weekend? Or you're not able to express them because you choose not to say them out loud?
That, and if I have expressed my needs in the past and it turns into a He might disappear for a day or a week, or real stonewalling when
So maybe
in therapy.
let's circle all the way back to the beginning when you just started talking and I just felt in my guts I needed to interrupt you. Maybe your body's right. This is not a guy to marry. If a man can make 2 babies with a woman and she can't say, hey, I need this, without him throwing a temper tantrum and taking off for a day, it's not safe.
Not safe.
That means you're dating a child, literally a child trapped in a man's body. And if I'm him and I'm watching the woman that I love drown because she still has chains around her feet and arms and shoulders and waist from when she was 6 years old, and she won't tell me how to help, it's exhausting. It's so frustrating because he feels useless.
That's it.
And he tries to help, he doesn't know how.
Mm-hmm.
And your daughters see this ping pong match between you two, and they're like, I don't want any part of that. And you know intuitively they're going to miss out on the best part of life, which is finding somebody, and you look at them and say, I'm all in if you are. Not somebody perfect, not the quote unquote the one, because that's not real, but someone who says, I'm in if you are, and they go, all right. And that's the best part of life, and the part that gets you hurt the most because you expose yourself the most to that person, but they've said, I don't want to do that. And what they did was they held a mirror up to you, and you were able for the first time after this healing to see, wait a minute, I'm worth more than this too.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair?
Fair.
Do you believe you're worth more than that? Because I do.
I do. I didn't for a long time, and I spent a lot of time drowning it out.
Man.
A lot of things. And
I'm so proud of you. And like every single person I've ever sat with, from high school kid to undergraduate to graduate student to parents to elderly folks who just lost their spouse, I ask the same question when we get to this moment. What are you going to do now? You want me to give you some starters?
Yes.
Starter number 1 is to tell, I'm just going to call him your husband because I don't play those kind of games. You're going to tell your husband, you and I on Saturday, we're going out for a half day. Because I've been doing a lot of counseling. I've lost 75 pounds. You lost my daughter.
I know.
That's amazing. And she's always like, Dad, piggyback ride. And just going up and down the stairs 2 or 3 times, I work out a lot, too much. And even I'm like, man, I need you to get down, get off. It's too heavy. You lost my daughter.
Yeah.
And you've been going to counseling. Not a great counselor, but a good enough. You're investing in yourself. And I think I want you to tell your husband, I want to go spend a few hours for the first time ever looking out to 2033 and saying, we're going to be at 2033, whether we want to or not. And my daughter's going to be 23 years old and 22 years old. And we have an opportunity right now to build the life that we want when they're 22 and 23. Are they going to want to come home? Are we going to be talking about some hot new thing she's dating and she's planning a wedding? What? Or we're going to be doing something else? But you get to decide that. And I want you to tell him we need to have some hard conversations about truths. If you're not attracted to me anymore, I need you to bring that with you. If you don't want to be with me anymore, I need you to bring that with you. I'm going to bring what I need, and I can't have you running away. I need you to stay present with me even when it gets hard. And if he says, I ain't doing that, you've heard me say this on this show a bunch, behavior's a language.
Yeah.
Then he's telling you, I'm not interested in you growing. I'm not interested in you getting well. I liked my old life where I felt superior to you because you were 75 pounds heavier than you are now. I liked my old life when I could complain about everything before you started going to trauma counseling and healing.
Hmm.
When one person in a relationship like this starts doing a lot of work on their own, it disrupts the equilibrium of the home, the homeostasis. It changes the dynamic of everything. And sometimes, without meaning to, the other partner will try to bring the other person back. Somebody loses 75 pounds, and all of a sudden, someone's like, let's just order a pizza. Showing up with donuts on a Saturday morning. They get up really early, they put gas in your car for the week, and they go grab a dozen donuts just because, you've been working so hard. It's this weird subconscious thing. I need things back the way they were. Even though back the way they were, I didn't like it. I wasn't comfortable. My partner was sick all the time. No one was comfortable. We're just there. And so to keep that thing from getting dragged back, keep you from getting pulled back or just getting shot out like a rubber band. This whole thing's over. 15 years, 3 kids, it's all just over. It's important to just go take some time, change the environment, change the location, and say, let's be adults. Let's put everything on the table and let's make a choice. Are we going to build something new? Are we going to keep building something new? Or is my body telling me the truth? This is not somebody who's safe to be with long term. This is not somebody to build a life with, and I've been playing for the last decade. And I think you look across the table in a very scary, vulnerable way, probably more vulnerable than you've been since you were a young little kid. And you say, this is what I need, and this is where I want to go. Do you still love me? And will you still be here? Because he might say no, but he might say yes. And so goes love, and so goes marriage, and so goes romantic relationships. Do you see all of me? And do you see where I want to go? And do you see who I'm becoming? And do you still love me too? You're worth it, Mel. You're worth it. Write down the questions you want to ask him. Write down your needs. And invite him to a dreaming breakfast and lunch. Call me back after that meeting. I'll be here with you every step of the way. I'm so, so proud of you. The hard work is still to come, but man, you have launched out like a rocket.